Hey guys and gals, my name is Sean, and today I'm going to be talking about IFR holding procedures. The whole specific purpose of a holding pattern is for aircraft to have a specific area of reasonably protected airspace where they can delay until further clearance is received by ATC. There are many reasons ATC may ask you to hold, the most common being traffic or severe weather along the route or above the airport. Um, Other reasons may include aircraft emergencies, reaching a clearance limit, or unavailability of the runway. Holds given by ATC can be published or non-published on IFR en route charts and approach charts, and they will typically be given at a nav aid, fix, or an intersection. It is important to note that all holding patterns are protected and therefore clear of obstacles, so that is not something you have to worry about as long as you stay on the protected side. So there are 4 different parts to a holding pattern. You have the first part, the holding course, and then you have the inbound leg to the fix, which is pretty much what this all revolves around, and then you have the outbound leg. And it is important to note that the standard turns for a holding pattern are right-hand turns. And that's important to know because ATC is not always going to tell you that, because that is a standard. They will usually only tell you if it is a left-hand turn, which is non-standard. Now that you know the parts of a holding pattern, it is important to know the rules associated with them. So, holding patterns have maximum speed restrictions. So, below 6,000 feet MSL, the maximum holding speed is 200 knots indicated airspeed, and you will have 1 minute legs inbound and outbound. 6,001 feet MSL to 14,000 feet MSL, the maximum holding speed is 230 knots indicated airspeed with 1 minute legs. And then 14,001 foot MSL and up is 265 knots indicated airspeed, and with this faster speed you will need to increase your leg time, so they increased it to 1.5 minute legs inbound and outbound. So when you are doing a holding pattern, the whole point is pretty much to achieve maximum endurance. So you don't really want to be blowing through the holding pattern because you're just holding anyways, so your main goal is that you really want to conserve fuel. And you also, thing that is important is that you need to keep your speed constant. Now you might be asking yourself, how do I know when to start the time on my legs? Well, when you're on inbound to the fix, and once the flag flips on the HSI, you will start your turn. And once you roll wings level, or the flag flips again to show your beam the point, or past it, whatever occurs last, you will start your timing for the outbound leg. Once you get to the minute of that outbound leg and you start turning inbound, as soon as you roll wings level, you will start the inbound leg time. Now there are certain reporting criteria that you need to make when you are in a holding pattern as directed by ATC. ATC will give you the direction from the holding fix, the name of the holding fix, the radial, course, bearing, airway, or route on which to hold, the direction if left turns, and your expected further clearance time. You need to copy all that down and read it back to ATC so they know that you understand. One of the most important aspects of that whole holding clearance is that you need to have the expected further clearance time. That is extremely important. And if they do not give you one, you should ask for one, because if you have a possible comms failure, you need to know when to safely depart that holding pattern. Other things that you need to report in holding are, once you're established, you need to report back to the place you're talking to and your call sign, obviously, and the location of where you are holding with the time and altitude. And then as you are departing the holding pattern, you also need to talk to ATC and tell them the place that you're talking to, your call sign, and that you are departing holding. And anytime that there an increased airspeed is necessary, or you can not accomplish any part of the holding procedure, ATC needs to be aware of that. So now that we've discussed how holding patterns work and the rules associated with them, you're probably wondering, how do we enter them? There's 3 entries that you can make. You have a direct entry, a parallel entry, and a teardrop entry. Those are the only 3. And with a direct entry, you can fly directly to the fix to follow the holding pattern. And a parallel entry is where you hold course outbound on the non-holding side for 1 minute and then turn in the direction of the holding pattern more than 180 degrees and return to the holding fix to intercept the inbound course. And then with a teardrop, you fly to the fix, turn outbound to 30-degree entry within the pattern for 1 minute, then turn inbound to intercept the holding course. Making a right turn, it's usually going to be a teardrop entry. When you're making a left turn, it's most likely to be a parallel entry. So here's the example that I have created. 8-lane uniform, hold northeast of the ORF VOR on radial 045 at 3,000 feet, expect for the clearance time 1855. So you can start by drawing a quadrant right here, and you know that this is the VOR right here. It said hold northeast on the 045 radial. So you can draw a radial coming out of the northeast right there, and you know you're going to be making right turns because they did not specify left turns. So you can come over here, go right, and you know that holding patterns are pretty much just a big racetrack, so you can go around and make that. So you already know this is your inbound right here, and this will be your outbound. So now you want to figure out what is your course. So as you know, radials emit outwards, so emitting outwards of the northeast is 045. When it comes to getting the inbound, you just want to take the reciprocal of that, which is easiest with the +2 - 2 rule. So just put +2 is 2, 4 - 2 is 2, and you get 225 on the inbound. Alright, as you guys can see here, I've erased the quadrant and I have drawn 3 different aircraft, A, B, and C, to show you guys the different ways you will enter a holding pattern. Aircraft A will be a direct entry because it is easily set up where it can go right to the fix and go right into that right turn. So therefore it makes it pretty easy, easiest one you can do. And that just goes just like that, right into the holding pattern. When it comes to aircraft Bravo, that gets a little bit more interesting because now you can't just go right into a turn from the fix. You need to fly through the fix, and you will make a right turn, come back and intercept the inbound course, and they call it a teardrop because it looks like a teardrop. When it comes to aircraft C, that will be a parallel entry. As you can see, they're coming from the northwest over here, right to the fix. Can't just go right into that right turn, so the aircraft will make a left turn and parallel the inbound course here for 1 minute, and then turn back inbound, intercept the inbound course, and continue right to the fix and make that holding pattern. Alright, there is another method which is pretty quick, and if you can't visualize it like myself, then this is a really good method you can use in the aircraft. It's called the pencil method. So you have your HSI, and say you're heading north. If you're making right turns, you can raise your pencil about 20 degrees from exactly on the right. You raise it 20 degrees and you draw a line across. And from here to here, this will be a direct entry. A small portion over here will be a teardrop entry. And this chunk over here will be parallel. So depending where your outbound course lies in these quadrants, that is exactly how you know which entry to make. And if you're doing it for left-hand turns, same thing. Just go up 20 degrees on the left, draw a line across. It's the same exact thing. It's really easy to be able to use in the aircraft.